8,000 years of wine history. 10 hours long video to talk all about it. I'm kidding, guys. But I'm gonna take you for this journey in 7 steps. Let's wine together. I wasn't kidding. I could spend hours talking about the history of wine because that's how I began my journey a few years ago at university. But today, we're gonna change a little bit. I'm gonna take you for 8,000 years of history in very few steps. Let's begin. 6,000 before Christ, 8,000 years ago. That's when we began cultivating the vine. Possibly the vine has been existing way before that. And wine itself has been existing way before that. Where are we? We are on the north of the Mesopotamian Valley, Georgia, south of Russia. And that's how the beautiful story begins. This is how I started loving this product. My university studies are based on this. What happened was back then that human beings decided to stop. So from nomad populations, we created civilization. That's why the vine is called the civilizing plant. So what happens between 8,000 years ago and today? Well, a few things happen. But for the first few thousand years, all the population around the Mesopotamian valleys are using wine as an elite product. So, kings, philosophers, priests, very important people only. Same happens with the Greeks. As of 3600 BC, we see the Greeks cultivating the vine and making sure that wine was becoming a very important product of their market. They start spreading vine viticulture in the south part of the Mediterranean. And with the Greeks, once again, there is a discovery of sulfur, of oak, very important modern discoveries. What happens then? Of course, the Romans. As of 500 BC, for the next 1,000 years, actually 1,500 years, the Romans are responsible for making wine available to all. No more product for the elite, but actually something that everyone can enjoy. Wine becomes more of a food, really. Romans are also very important. They play a major role in making sure that viticulture was reaching each and every bit of Europe, all the way up to Scotland. After the Romans, where I'm gonna take you? I'm gonna take you to the 13th and 14th centuries. Now, this is very important because it's when the monks are retrieving the very important information and studies of the Greeks and the Romans, turning it into modern winemaking and viticulture. Monks are important because they discovered the press. So now we have free round juice, very clean wine. And with the monks, finally we drink wine pure, not anymore blended with water or other spices. After that, we start having what? In the 15th and 16th century, we start to travel. Expeditions across the globe. So now we have Australia, we have New Zealand. Before that, we had South America, then America. Everywhere, human culture goes hands in hands with wine. During these years, something very important happened. We have the rediscovery of sulfur, of not just the oak barrels, but mainly also the bottles. So this is very important for winemaking. The 17th and 18th century are paramount for what? Well, until then, do you know something? People thought that wine was the result of a magical process with a little spirit that was responsible for the equation of transformation of the sugars into alcohol. Well, now, Lavoisier makes empirical science a science. So now we talk about chemistry all of a sudden. So now we have Monsieur Chaptal. And in the 19th century, we have Monsieur Guyot inventing all about the training system and so many more studies were carried out to talk about scientific viticulture and winemaking. What happens next? Right at the end of the 19th century, we have a little bug. Its name is phylloxera that destroys every wine in the world. Today we need an American rootstock to graft every vine if you want to make wine. 20th century. What happens here? Lots of things happen, but one of the important things that happened, I would say after the war, is the modern winemaking really became modern with the arrival of inox vats, temperature control, selected yeast, lots of chemicals out there in the vineyards. Some of that stuff wasn't really that great. We're gonna be learning later. What else? Well, the arrival of super Tuscans and all the very important wines are gonna be developed at the end of the 20th. So, where are we now? Today. 21st century is a wonderful century with regards to wine, because it's like we've done a circle from 8,000 years all the way, lots of discoveries, and now back from the super industrial and lots of chemicals to natural winemaking, but with all the knowledge that we've gained throughout the past 8,000 years. But the most beautiful thing of it all is that wine is kind of always the same. And we always share the same rituals together like 8,000 years ago. So from Filippo Bartolotta, this is all from the history lesson. I'll catch you later with the other episodes. Did you learn anything new today? If you have any questions, just ask. And of course, for more tips, tricks, and love, follow us on our social media and our wine classes. And enjoy it like a true Italiano.